Well, we have a question that relates to like the derivative of a derivative. So let's have a look at this. If I can get the right window. Okay. Now it says that let y equals 4 cos x and x is a function of t. So let's write this as we go. So y, let's change the color. Y equals 4 cos x and x is a function of t. They've said what dx dt equals is 3e to the power of 2t. Now, if we find out what is x equal to, x is a function of t, and then we could substitute x back in here, but we want the value of dy dt. So ultimately, we want to have a function where we've only got t, so that we can get dy dt from that function. But we've got y as a function of x. So if you were to replace x in here with the function of t, we just have to then find out what does x equal. So let's get the antiderivative of this function, this dx dt. That will give us what x equals. X equals, now the antiderivative of 3e is simply 3e. So the first part is you leave it, but because it's antiderivative, we then have to divide by the derivative of that bracket and plus c. Now we're told to find c, we have to substitute a specific value of x and t. So for x, if x is 3 on 2, when t is 0, then we can find our constant. So 0 equals 3 times e to the 2 times 0 over 2 plus c. So we've got 3 over 2 equals, now e to the power of 0 is 1, so that's a 1. So that's 3 over 2 plus c, therefore c equals 0. So we've got our formula for x. X is simply 3 over 2 e to the power of 2t, no plus 0. So we don't have to worry about plus c now. Okay, so now we know what x is. Once we know what x is, we can come back here and substitute. So therefore, y is 4 cos of x. Now, x is 3 over 2 e to the 2t. Now, that's y equals 4 cos x, where we've replaced x with 3 over 2 e to the 2t. Now, we want the value of dy dt. Let's derive this. The derivative is 4 cos, the derivative of cos is negative sine, so that would be negative 4 sine. And because it's chain rule, you don't change that. You then have to multiply by the derivative of that bracket. And the derivative of that bracket is, leave it, 3 over 2t. And then, because we're getting derivative, we times by the derivative of 2t. So we've got our dy dt. Now we want the derivative when x equals pi over 2. Now there's no x in this formula, but we do know that x equals 3 over 2 e to the 2t. So there's still an x in that position. We could still put our x back here, and there's x again, right? So dy dt is simply negative 4 sine, there's x. If you can see that that is x, that's x pi over 2, because x equals pi over 2, and x equals 3 over 2 e to the 2t. Therefore, pi over 2 equals 3 over 2 e to the 2t. So we could replace this with pi over 2. There's a pi over 2. We've forgotten the, that's fine, over 2. And now sine of pi over 2 is 1. So we're left with our final value. Therefore, our value is negative 4 times 1 times pi over 2 times 2. So we're left with negative 4 pi. Oh, that's a very tricky question. I think you might have to look at that a few times to just follow my logic. Maybe I went a bit fast, but let me know if you still have trouble, and I'll do it a little bit slower next time.